Any leader who is unable to curb the excesses of his appointees is himself culpable. Get it well. Any leader who is unable to curb, that is, to control or manage the excesses of his appointees or his collaborators, that leader is himself guilty as the collaborators. If this is the first time you're watching my video, welcome to the family. Please subscribe. You'll be notified when subsequent videos are uploaded. And when you watch the videos, do well to share them. That is the only way you can help us carry our sensitization messages to every nook and cranny of our society. That said, let us go to the presidency of the Republic. We have gathered that the tone, the rhetoric, everything is now changing. Changing because Ngongo and his collaborators are now beginning to listen to advice from outside, Friends of Cameroon, international organizations, but they have one problem. The problem is Issa Tchiroma Bakari. As early as last night, the government of Mr. Biya was in touch with those connected to Issa Tchiroma Bakari. Why? They are trying to negotiate with the man. But the greatest problem they have is that Issa Tchiroma Bakari is not going down the path of John Frundi. Issa Tchiroma Bakari has refused to accept any kind of negotiation with the government of Mr. Biya. He has given them one condition. And trust me, if you and I were in the position of Mr. Biya, we will not take that condition. We will not accept, because it will be a big blow, a humiliation. Issa Tchiroma Bakari has asked that Mr. Biya concede defeat, that he should accept that he lost the election and let the Constitutional Council do the right thing before he can go ahead and do any kind of negotiation with the government. That is what his team is sending as message to the government of Mr. Biya. You see, we have seen this in different places. It is not the first time. Cameroon is not the first. It happens almost everywhere. There is a crisis between the government, and a dictatorial government for that matter, and a victorious opposition. Now, this is how it is going to play out, because Mr. Biya has to be sworn in. Mr. Biya has to be sworn in. They were supposed to do the swearing-in ceremony on the 3rd, per Ngongo's plan. And it was decided that since the ghost town is effective, let them push it to the 6th of November. The same day, Mr. Biya took office in Cameroon, 1982. A day that Cameroonians will never forget, because that is the day the country was cursed. Since 1982, we have seen how things have played out. Cameroon going to the IMF, a country that he took facing economic boom, of a sudden was engulfed by economic slump. He took us to the IMF, and we know the story of countries that have been to the IMF. They don't come out looking fresh and fat. They come out like an oversucked cow. And that is how Cameroon is at the moment. He did not only take us to the IMF. The currency was devalued. There was serious salary slash. And since then, things kept going from bad to worse. He will later on take us to that organization of highly indebted poor country or countries. So Cameroon became a member of the highly indebted poor countries. Mr. Biya did not end there. Mr. Biya took Cameroon again to what is known as privatization. Only actions that will put Cameroonians on their knees. And we have seen some very buoyant companies, industries, institutions that we had in Cameroon under Mr. Biya, under Mr. Ahidjo, I beg your pardon, all gone. And today, Cameroon is at a crossroad. So Mr. Biya is as guilty as his collaborators. Then, to nail it, Cameroon won an international trophy twice, back to back, the most corrupt nation in the world, under Mr. Biya. Under Mr. Biya. Under Mr. Biya, Cameroon has experienced the worst of conflict. In the far north, we know how Boko Haram has caused havoc over the years. In the east, the country was infiltrated by the dreaded Seleka movement. The Seleka rebels infiltrated the east, causing the people to sleep with one eye open. The northwest and southwest, for 9 years and counting, the two regions have been engulfed by a crisis that has not only had a serious toll on the economy, but has also taken lives in thousands. People have disappeared with their whereabouts not known till date. Some fled the country to neighboring Nigeria and other places in the world. And that is a resume of the report sheet of Mr. Biya. So you shouldn't doubt why during campaigns, Mr. Biya cannot come out and tell you, I can boast that I have achieved this. They talk about he's the father of democracy. Mr. Biya is not the father of democracy in Cameroon. Multipartyism, he is not. How can you be proud of things like, one thing the government of Mr. Biya fails to understand is that there are some basic things, very simple, that if you can keep going in your country, it doesn't matter how hard a dictator you are, the people will be smiling. One, jobs. Jobs. And all the companies the industries, the institutions that were creating jobs in the days of President Ahmadu Ahijo, Biya has made them to disappear. And so, job creation has become the tears of a dog, hard to find. Second, you have good health that can be achieved through what? Good medical system, hospitals that have the infrastructure, hospitals that have the equipment and personnel, both quality and quantity. Mr. Biya has failed. The third one, water. We know how important water is. Water in Cameroon is a problem. Electricity supply, my goodness. Electricity supply in Cameroon is a living hell. It is epileptic. Yet, no one, absolutely no one does anything. And to tell you how cunning and wicked the government of Mr. Biya has been, for those who lived in Limbe during the African Cup of Nations, what the government did is appalling. Water was cut from the rest of the city and directed towards the area where the games were taking place and the players were lodged. You see how wicked a government can be? Instead of doing everything to make sure that ahead of such an event, they stabilize everything and distribute water to every part of the city. No. They are busy struggling to give a good image of themselves to those who are organizing the competition. That's CAF. I put it to you that with all what I have said, it is just a piece, just a page of a 400-page book of the failures of Mr. Biya. What I have outlined is just a page of a 400-page book of the failures of Mr. Biya. Now, look at CPDM representatives or communicators who come on TV set. I was watching them and picked out the few because they are now beginning to accept that things are not going well in Cameroon. That it is time for Mr. Biya to kick aside all the ministers and appoint new people. After 43 years in management, after 43 years in government, these people are still asking for 7 years and still telling Mr. Biya, who is not even conversant with his immediate environment, the things happening in his own country, they are telling him to appoint new people and present a project for the next 7 years. What project? They talk about dialogue. Mr. Biya does not know what dialogue is. No. Mr. Biya rules Cameroon with a tight fist, force, brutality. So, what they are saying on television sets is mind-boggling. They talk about chantier. Oh, il faut que le président annonce le chantier ou les chantiers pour les 7 prochaines années. Really? He should announce projects for the next 7 years. The same way you have been announcing slogans and none is working. None is working. And now you come to tell us that he has projects for the next 7 years to make it 50 years in power. These guys, either they are delusional or they are drunk. It's a fact. This is the time when we're going to say it as it is. It's a time when we have to say it as it is. They go on to say they are praising the governor of the littoral region, the SDOs, the DOs, the mayors, and military for going towards the people to talk to them. Why are they going towards the people to talk to them? Because the people are putting the economy of the country in a very tight corner. Therefore, making it difficult for them to have money to mismanage. For close to a week, trucks carrying goods have not been able to exit Cameroon to the Central African Republic or Chad because the young protesters in the Grand North have blocked that route. It is giving nightmare to the government. You know, billions that are frustrated from entering the coffers of the country so that they can steal it and stash it overseas and live a kind of flamboyant life while the people suffer in penury. It doesn't end there. Jodene Esomba. For those who know Jodene Esomba, Jodene Esomba breathes Biya. Jodene Esomba eats Biya. Jodene Esomba sleeps Biya. Jodene Esomba drinks Biya. In fact, Jodene Esomba adores Biya. He worships Biya. But to hear him come out and castigate the president and his government that things are not working, that all the ministers should get out because they have failed the people of Cameroon. If Jodene Esomba is talking like this, I can tell you that what we are getting, that the presidency is changing its way of operating now. They want peace, they want dialogue. It's true. But you know what? It is late. They are as late as Hewet. That's how late they are. It's not going to work. Just do the right thing. This man has given you the condition. Accept that you lost the election. And a way out of power and a quiet life will be granted to the president of the republic. He will go to Mvomeka and live his life there quietly. Nobody will bother about him. He's 92 or 93. You want to send him to prison? No, there is no need. He will die in a week's time if you send him to prison. Let him go to Mvomeka and rest. It's his village. He has his people to deal with them because his people are not going to leave him. They're going to question him. You've come to meet us. What have you done for us? Because Mvomeka itself is a dry land. Yes. I have said it. You see, the problem we have is that we have a very arrogant government. At one moment, you see them begging for peace, and at the same time, intimidating and being arrogant. You tell somebody to open her shop, and she says she's not opening her shop. Is it the first time? It has happened everywhere in the world. Civil disobedience. The citizens have a right to eat. But because you are all dictators, even the traditional rulers they appoint are dictators. That is why you go to the southwest and you see the chiefs in loggerhead with his subjects. That is the kind of government we have in place. That is why I started by saying a leader who cannot control the excesses of his collaborators, that leader is culpable. Is as guilty as the collaborators charged for a certain crime. Mismanagement. Now, on Equinox TV, let me leave Esomba. On Equinox TV, Robert Mute Ambassa, he was the communicator who came on set to represent the CPDM party. For once, I saw a level-headed CPDM diehard talking. He said in Cameroon, there has been a total absence of equity, development, and justice. For the first time, someone from that party has spoken the truth, justice. Because I have said it. Wherever injustice lives, peace travels. Peace cannot stay where there is injustice. Peace only stays where there is justice. So he talks about equity. Equity is very simple. There is no balance. There is no rational distribution of the country's wealth. A few have taken it hostage and they enjoy it with their families, while the rest of the country is swimming in abject poverty. That is a fact. And so when he talks of the lack of equity, development, and justice, he is very correct. He's a member of the Central Committee. Unfortunately, they cannot send him behind bars. They cannot. But what he said is the truth. And like others, he would touch the same thing. Now you begin to realize that they don't care about the minority, the Northwest and the Southwest regions of Cameroon. They don't care about the English-speaking people. I regret the day we left Nigeria to join our brothers of the French-speaking extraction. That is a fact. I regret it. Because we are living in a country that is a dungeon. We are living in a country that is not only a dungeon, but a jungle. And the king of that jungle is Mr. Biya. So he will crush anyone who tries to call them to order. That is why you see they keep arresting and detaining people. And then he went ahead to say Mr. Biya should announce projects in his swearing in speech. God, when I listen to that, I'm like, is he fine? What projects are they talking about? Wait, Mr. Biya has not been able to tar 5,000 kilometers of road in 40 years. And you're talking that he needs another 7 years for him to do magic? There is no magic in this thing. Absolutely not. Mr. Biya is not a leader. Mr. Biya is a failure. He has appointed only thieves. And these thieves, because they are aware of their crimes, they know that the only person who will be safe a little when this government is not in place is Mr. Biya. That's the only man that can be forgiven by the next leader because of his age. But you see the likes from Gongo down to the last minister. Accountability time shall come. You guys will not survive. Atanganji Paul is doing all what he's doing. He is a rogue. Atanganji Paul is a rogue. He's a criminal. When you see a minister of territorial administration receives test kits for COVID and he sells it to a ministry of public health in the same government, tell me, what kind of a minister of territorial administration is he? If not a rogue, a recalcitrant, a repugnant fellow. That is exactly who Atanganji is. And all he does is bully Cameroonians, threaten them. Now they have told him to shut up his mouth for some time. That's why he's quiet. He's quiet because he has been told to shut up. Because I told you that Atanganji was going to bring this country to its knees. The international community they are mentioning him in whatever advice they are giving the government. Because the man speaks like somebody who has lost it. He does not think before talking. He talks before thinking. That is the kind of territorial administration boss we have. They are having a serious nightmare. And their nightmare is Tchiroma. I told you that when the enemy comes from within, it is dangerous. Yeah. If the enemy comes from a distance, that's better. Because the enemy knows very little about you, about your strategy. But when the enemy comes from within, and the enemy is always from within, l'ennemi est toujours là, dans la maison, en train de guetter. En train de guetter. Then, all of them are calling on one thing, that Mr. Biya should be sworn in. He will be sworn in. Don't worry. I have told you there will be 2 swearing-in ceremonies in Cameroon. We don't care where the swearing-in of the president-elect, the legitimate president of Cameroon, we don't care where it is going to take place. He will be sworn in. Then the battle will continue. The battle will continue. Then there is one young man who is more now like Atanganji, the French version of Atanganji. That's Bruno Bijang. I can understand him. I told you the last time that Bruno Bijang is a young man who has gone through hell and had the opportunity to come back. And he was told, go and sin no more. When they catch you and take you to Sed in Yaoundé, and they torture you there and throw you behind bars, when you come out, you will start singing the name of Mr. Biya. That is what Bruno Bijang is doing. The real Bruno Bijang is hiding inside. C'est un petit qui a vu le rouge. Bruno Bijang a vu le rouge. On a torturé le gars. On a jeté le gars en prison. Il est sorti maintenant. Il pense que il est le défenseur numéro 1 de M. Biya. Mais c'est un petit qui n'a pas sa tête parce qu'il a attaqué Monseigneur Cléda. C'est du jamais vu. Il a attaqué Monseigneur Cléda en utilisant qui? Amogu Belinga, le tueur qui est en prison. Bruno Bijang, où se trouve votre patron? Votre patron que tu dis comment il a donné l'argent à Monseigneur Cléda. Où se trouve votre patron? Il a pris son argent où? Il a travaillé où pour avoir l'argent qu'il a? Il a travaillé où? Tu prends un petit bandit à col blanc qui trafique tout qu'on peut imaginer au monde, qui est en prison parce qu'il a tué un journaliste d'avoir dit la vérité, et c'est avec lui que tu veux prendre pour prêcher, pour donner des leçons de moralité à qui? À M. Cléda. Vous n'avez rien vu. Tu auras ton tour chez le coiffeur, mon frère. Évitez d'attaquer les gens comme M. Cléda. Ne commence pas quelque chose que tu ne peux pas terminer. Because when you see Bruno Bijang going after the Archbishop of Douala, saying that his boss, Amogu Belinga, gave Cléda money, 50 million. I want to ask Bruno Bijang one simple question. Where is your boss? Your boss has never on earth stand on a moral high ground to look down on those on the moral low ground and give them moral lessons. He cannot. Amogu Belinga is in prison because they assassinated in the worst form Martinez Zogo. A country where a journalist is killed, the body has been in the mortuary for 2 years and counting, justice has not been done. You come out to attack Archbishop Cléda. You know what? I have told you that time is coming, the day of reckoning and accountability. Some of you will not have any hiding place in Cameroon, but change is on the way, inshallah.